Hello, everybody from Bali. I just wanted to pop in here. You know, Yesterday I was talking a bit about expansion and pushing the limits of your comfort zone and really how this helps you to grow. And I wanted to share actually in real time something that's happening. I am having a conversation right now with my husband via text, and well, I guess backstory. One of my friends slash driver here in Bali, I met her last year through our retreat, introduced me to a, well, he's a high priest slash healer slash who she calls her guru and credits with helping her to heal her cancer. And she's told me miraculous stories of other people that like she has personally brought there, like a friend of hers who had diabetes, who didn't use her insulin while there and left and has not used it since and has been fine. Another man who had been in a wheelchair since he was a child and who now walks, like some of these like miraculous stories. And I was just really intrigued with this guy. And she told me about him last year, and he was actually in South Africa at the time, so I didn't get an opportunity to meet him. So she had brought me there this week, and he did do, I don't even know what to call it, a bit of a treatment. I know that it's to do with like the chakras, but it's not like any experience I've ever had with a chakra reading or clearing or energy healing. If you are coming to the retreat with me, I might talk about this more in person and maybe a bit more in here, but it's kind of unfolding for me. And I am somebody who goes all in. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. She brought me over to their family compound. I spent the day there. He did this session with me, and ultimately kind of told me to stop taking all of my supplements that I take. And I don't take a ton, but I take several every day, and even a prescription medicine that I have taken since I had my gallbladder removed several years ago. And I had largely cut out any prescription meds, that I used to take, because in my family that was normal. My mom was a nurse, and it's like, something's wrong with you, take a pill, have a surgery. And that unfortunately is still a big part of how my family is, and I've largely separated from that. But I have been doing more like natural health, and through this healing, he ultimately told me to stop taking all of those things, which I have, at least for the next 7 days, and to try just some food-based stuff. So that in itself has been an uncomfortable stretch for me, to be honest, because I've realized like just how much I've actually like been dependent on some of these things and outsourced my power. Not even just like, do I need it, genuinely need these supplements in order to be able to eat and everything else. It's like the anxiety around it of, I don't have this thing. And my friend Naomi, she was telling me this story about the woman with diabetes as well. And she was the same thing. She was there all day. She's like, I need to go. I forgot my insulin, and she was very worried. And she spent the whole day there, and she ate. And I did the same thing. I spent the whole day there. I ate. I didn't have any issues. Last night I did go there for the full moon celebration. I ate stuff which I was okay. My stomach wasn't feeling quite as good this morning, but that's also largely part of what's to be expected. So that was a bit of a sidestep. I just wanted to give you the background on this person, this man. So I found out they have a couple little eco cottages on their property that usually, they put up people that they're treating in there, or people, that they welcome into their family home. And they offered to let me stay there for a very reasonable cost. And to be honest, I said yes, sight unseen. I mean, I'd seen the property, but I hadn't even seen the villa the other night when I said yes to this, because I just felt the intuitive nudge to do it. And then the next morning I woke up, I'm still at my other hotel, I check out today. And I'm like, what did I just get myself into? Oh my God. I started to kind of go into a little bit of panic. And But I just said, no, like I'm doing this because I had the nudge. I'm going, like, this is who I am now. I'm not letting my fear lead me. So I'm doing the thing. And, so I'm having this conversation with my husband, and, he, said, please keep checking in. I'm a little concerned, blah, blah, blah. And, so I sent him the phone number of my friend who's also going to be doing like yoga and massage at the retreat for us. She's going to be joining me a few days early. And then I sent the name and like information, the contact information for my other friend who's also my driver, and like sent him all the information. And he's just like, okay. He's like, I was largely, I think, reacting to my mom's response when I told her where you were going and that you were like booking off platform. And then beyond that, on Sunday, the place I'm staying, I'm going to stay somewhere where I've actually stayed before, twice. Both times I've been in Bali, but I've booked it from Airbnb in the past, and this time I'm going off platform and I'm just paying them directly. And he told his mom this, my mother-in-law, and she was just like, oh, well, she's braver than me. And he said, and then she looked concerned. And, then he said, he's like, you thought about what your mom would say if you told her, oh yeah, I'm going to stay at the family compound of some guru that I just met. Oh yeah. And then last night when I was there, I did actually see the little villa and wouldn't use the restroom in there. And there was a centipede on the floor right by my feet as I was using that. So he's like, have you told your mom that you're like going to stay in this little bamboo villa that doesn't have air conditioning at the family compound of some random guru that you just met? I'm like, well, no, I haven't. And in the past, that really would have probably triggered me, because I'd have been like, oh God, what am I getting myself into? And like his projection of his fear, his anxiety. And, I do believe mirrors and everything are reflections. So, it didn't have to reflect back to me, but I've realized like how much I've grown, because a year ago I could not have done this. And it is actually a bit uncomfortable for me, because I like to stay in bougie places that have nice pools that deliver. And actually, as I'm saying this, I'm sitting here with my plate of breakfast that was just delivered to me on my balcony at my hotel this morning. But I like these places that have the beautiful pools and everything else. But I also know that when something's telling me to go somewhere, to do something, that there's a reason. And the people have been so welcoming in this family at this compound the last couple of days when I've been there. And I'm like, of course I'm going to go. Of course I'm going to do it. Of course I trust them. But, thinking about explaining it to my husband, to my mom, to, what my mother-in-law thinks, and like, what do these people all think of me, and why are they worried? And I would have taken on their fear, their anxiety. And I think that's such a huge part of so many of the things that we do. Is it's not even like that we're unwilling to stretch our comfort zone, that we're unwilling to do big things. It's that a lot of times it's that fear, that anxiety, and sometimes it's not even ours. Sometimes it is, like I said, some of what they're reflecting back to me might be some of my internal fears, but now I'm able to actually hold that in a completely different way than what I would have been able to a year ago, even maybe like a few months ago. And I don't know what to expect really of this experience, and it's not going to be like anything else I've experienced ever in Bali, and probably never will again. I might stay with them again. But even booking off Airbnb direct with a host, even though I've stayed there twice before, there's always that I'm in a different country, and nobody I know is really with me at this point. Only people that I've met here. And, I'm having these reflections of like how much I have grown, and that does carry through to other aspects of life, not just, here in Bali and going to stay with people, but it's like, how is that being reflected in my relationships, in my marriage, in what I'm doing in my life? And something that a lot of people have told me that they really like about me, or like clients, people that follow me, random people in my family, friends, it's just like, you're just brave and you do the thing. And it's never really been something that I've thought of, because it's just part of who I am. But this last couple of years, I'll admit, I've pulled back on a lot of things because some things didn't go the way that I expected them to. I made investments that didn't go the way I wanted to. This year financially, honestly, has been a bit brutal in comparison to past years, and not in we've been fine, we've survived, we've made plenty of money. But it's the first year that I've made less instead of growing, and I think that it needed to happen. It's back on track now, but earlier this year, I had to take a step back and just really reassess where I am, what I'm doing, who I'm being, so that I could step into this next level. And I fully believe that this is part of that journey. And even though it's not necessarily in my business specifically, the personal growth, the things that are happening as a part of this experience are expanding me, expanding my capacity to hold more, to, really keep that emotional, to alchemize any fear, immediately in the moment, and just be like, what's the worst that could happen, right? I guess something could happen, I could die, whatever, but am I worried about that? No. And that could literally happen anywhere. It could happen anywhere. It could happen in my house, back in the States. And if you live your life from that place of fear, if you run your business from a place of fear, whether it's I'm not sending the messages to people, I'm not showing up doing the thing, I'm afraid of what people will think. And, I've been called out on this, and as recently as this past week from my own mentor. So that's why I also wanted to say this. It's not something that just goes away, but it's kind of that ongoing awareness of where am I contracting, where am I holding myself back from my expansion. And it's not just in your business. I just want to really stress that what's happening in your business is a reflection of what's happening in other areas of your life. So where are you actually, where in your life are you holding back? Where are you in fear? Where are you not acting in the highest, in your highest capacity? And I'm not saying everybody needs to go travel to Bali and stay with a fucking guru. Many people won't do the things that I do, and that's fine, and that doesn't make it wrong. But what is the stretch for you in your life? What is the thing that you have felt the call, the pull to do that you're not doing? And I, love that Lisa, I'm going to use Lisa's, example here of, the hospitality shift in her business, from a business perspective. That is a stretch, because she didn't feel like that was a direction, and it's a direction she's been being pulled in. But I think, and I think that she would attest to this, that she hasn't done it, because of all of the reasons that she had shared in her, her posts and the questions in the coaching days. So I just really encourage everybody, this is just a continuation of yesterday's expansion riff, really, but just to sit with, where in your life are you holding back? Where are you, not taking chances because of what someone else thinks, of your own fear, of what's being projected onto you, whatever it is for you. So I hope that you all are doing really well. I might be back in here later or tomorrow, the next few days. I don't know what they'll bring. My husband has asked me to check in with him, so I will be doing that. So everybody will know that I'm okay, and I'm sure I will be back in here in the next few days as we go through this. But I continue to just invite you forward to share. This is a safe space, and your expansion might be showing up more here, showing up for yourself, because the thing is if you're wanting to expand, if you're wanting to be more visible, if you're wanting to get more clients, if you're wanting more opportunities from a business perspective, and you're not showing up, that's it. That's a huge part of it. And you can sit and try to figure out the why and what you need to do, or you can just, make the choice. And it is uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable to grow. But at every level, whether, you are early on in a business, whether you are, in it and you've been successful for a while and you're just up leveling to that next level, it doesn't matter, because this happens at every point. And really, all of you are in this space for a reason, and that's up to you to decide what that is. And again, just want to throw out that I do have some of those Telegram days available if you wanted to go deeper into this privately and have 2 days, 2-day intensive inside Telegram or Voxer to go do that. I will talk to you all soon, and yeah, have a great day.